Hello, my fellow Inquisitors. My name is Alexandria Fox, and today's video will cover Black Friday. What it is, how it began, and how our ever-growing populace of conscious consumers can participate in a more ethical way, if they so choose, to use this time to score mega sales. This channel was born from my curious nature to delve into topics and hyper-focus until I gain deeper understanding. Thanks, ADHD. If you are like me, I hope that you appreciate some nuance on the topics that I cover and enjoy this corner of the internet where discourse, discussion, and idea swapping is so encouraged. If we want to live in a more understanding world, we have to be okay with being wrong some of the time and give grace when we are attempting to right behaviors that are toxic. So here's an opportunity to learn about this day of mega sales and decide for yourself how you wish to participate. After all, Black Friday deals are marched in front of our faces long before we even think about taking out that turkey to thaw. So how can we balance ethics and scoring a great deal? Today, I will help us clarify our commodification and put our money where our ideals are. So last week I was performing and one of my fellow coworkers and I were talking about Black Friday. Needing a new TV, needing new shoes, perhaps some performance equipment, and I just got hung up on Black Friday. Like, where does that word even come from? It sounds bad, right? But it's supposed to be a good thing? Deals and steals and even cheaper automobiles. Well, let me tell you. The term Black Friday was first used to name the September 24th, 1869 financial crash that resulted from two Wall Street financiers, Jay Gould and Jim Fisk, attempting to buy as much of the country's gold as they could to then sell for sky-high profits. That Friday, the jig was busted and the stock market fell, bankrupting Wall Street barons and farmers alike. The selfish behavior of two men and whomever else was part of this collusion destroyed the livelihoods of millions of people across the country. An oft-repeated but not confirmed origin story of Black Friday is that back in the 1800s, Southern plantation owners could buy enslaved workers at a discount the day after Thanksgiving. Black bodies, Black Friday. That has not been quite confirmed, so where does the retail connection come in? Well, the retail connection to this post-Thanksgiving shopping spree is that after nearly a whole year of operating at a loss, in the red, they could see profits in the black, when throngs of spenders would take advantage of massive deals in lieu of the upcoming gift-oriented holiday season. Operations at a loss were written in red ink in this ledger, and operations at a profit were written in black ink. Hence, Black Friday being the first day of the year that the ledgers would see black ink. What is known to be true is that during the 1950s and 1960s, the city of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania would be inundated with throngs of shoppers and tourists alike, flooding the city in advance of the big Army-Navy football game that was to be held on Saturday. Friday marked the day when Philly cops could not just rest and let their bellies hang after a big Thanksgiving meal. No. They were forced to work extra long shifts dealing with this influx of people, accidents, and crime, including shoplifters taking advantage of the overburdened police and retailers. Not wanting this day of booming business and sales to be overshadowed by
the criminal nature of Black Friday,
the city's merchants attempted to coin Big Friday in the hopes of reinventing the image of consumerism in retail. However, this didn't quite catch on. Instead, the return to the red to black economic narrative was pushed and finally caught on, giving a pat on the head to all consumers who helped save the retail shops from bankruptcy by spending their dollars to allow them to finally profit. What was once a single-day buying bonanza has now turned into a 4-day plus event, starting with Black Friday, moving into Small Business Saturday and Sunday, and culminating with Cyber Monday, where shoppers can select their wares from the comfort of their own home and PJs. But as we know, these Black Friday sales have already begun, and they will continue beyond Cyber Monday. That's just the way it is. According to Adobe Analytics data, Black Friday in 2020 hit a new record, with consumers spending $9 billion, an increase of 21.6% over the last year. Key items include games and gaming consoles, Legos, Barbies, and home electronics. Massive sales are great for the consumer, who gets to enjoy their goods at a discount. But who bears this burden, especially when it comes to the people who are building, packaging, and shipping said products? Our labor force. According to BlackFridayDeathCount.com, they list 14 deaths and 117 injuries relating to the holidays since they began tracking it back in 2006. I don't believe this number includes people forced to work in inhumane, unsafe conditions within the factories and the warehouses. I don't think it does, so if anyone out there has more information on that, go ahead and drop it in a comment below. We have heard the horror stories of Amazon warehouse workers being forced to work long hours with few, if any, breaks, even to use the bathroom. Conditions in factories operating overseas are sketchy and harmful, sometimes at best, and have even resulted in deaths and questions of child exploitation and slavery. On our own soil in the United States, few workers are paid a livable wage. For those who wish to unite and stand against these inhumane and environmentally costly, unsound practices, workers have and will come together to form a labor strike, often through unions, where they say they are unwilling to work until certain conditions are met. For those of us who choose to buy at Amazon, are you aware that you are undermining a strike? Are you aware that the cute, cheap IKEA set that you purchased is profiting a company that employs union-busting practices to prevent the collectivization of their workers? Something to think about. Black Friday workers are often compelled to work 10 to 15-hour days as stores try to cater even more to us ambitious shoppers. These are some of the hardest hours these workers will work all year. By mandating these days to fill orders and take care of our consumerist needs, families are separated during a time that should be about togetherness and family and enjoyment and food, taking care of one another, recognizing the things that we should be grateful for. Instead, they have to deal with the aggressive shoppers and a system that sees them as a cog in the wheel rather than a human. It feels particularly cruel for companies to force poor Americans to suffer on this day when they don't have many other options, if any, just so they can make them billions of dollars in profit. Some employees get holiday pay, time and a half, for working on Thursday, the holiday of Thanksgiving. But most get regular pay to deal with throngs of shoppers that pop into their stores on Black Friday. A bit unfair, don't you think? For all of this bodily expenditure for the sake of consumption, we must also look at environmental cost. Relying on cheap manufacturing, frequent consumption, and short-lived garment use, our global environment suffers due to the overuse and pollution of water supplies, chemical pollution, CO2 emissions, and textile waste. 92 million tons of waste is produced every year, and 79 trillion liters of water are consumed for the sake of our material production. These practices are, simply put, unsustainable, and so much money is spent at the detriment of our planet. Cheap goods and furniture, along with electronics that have obsolescence planned right into them, fill our landfills. It is a cost that we cannot simply ignore. Fines, fees, and taxes levied against these megacorporations are either not enough to curb these harmful practices, or they go simply unpaid. So don't think that Amazon is righting their environmental wrongs by putting money back into systems and organizations that set to clean our land. Company heads get richer and don't pay taxes while they burden their workers with backbreaking labor, exposure to toxins, and little pay. It is estimated that less than 2% of the 75 million people who are working to make the clothes that we put on our bodies make a living wage to cover their most basic of needs. 2%. Unfair labor and safety regulations exist around the world. Even if a company says that they ensure the safety and fair pay of all of their workers, they may not mean their factory workers, as many of these companies don't even own their factories that the parts and clothes are made in. They then abscond the responsibility in the treatment of these employees. If we want change, and after learning about the cost to our fellow citizens of this planet, why wouldn't you? We have to look towards and support the people who have the collective power to make it happen. The workers. Check out #MakeAmazonPay and their list of humanitarian and environmental demands that strikers across the globe will stand for as they refuse to participate in this Black Friday's commercialization. In a free market, capitalist society, if an employer cannot ensure that their employees' needs are met with their basic wages, do they even deserve to be in business? After all, who then pays for the welfare and social netting required to keep these individuals afloat? We, the taxpayers, do. And we know who is not being taxed appropriately. Support the striking workers so that their demands will be met to benefit the workers and those of us inhabiting planet Earth alike. So with all this said, you're probably wondering if you can, in good faith, shop on Black Friday. I know it's hard to pass up these good deals when you have a chance to buy the goods you need and want at a massive discount, right? If you want to look into a company's ethics, check out their policy page. If they are fair and ethical corporations, they will be transparent in their practices and policies to outline how they treat the people throughout the supply chain and mitigate environmental damage. Some companies will have certifications from third-party organizations that hold companies to high standards of accountability and will subject them to routine audits and check-ins. You will want to know where their goods are made, how they ensure the safety and fair practices towards workers in their supply chain, and what the environmental costs are to their manufacturing, along with their plans to offset that environmental burden. You can get an idea for how they treat their employees by reviewing what the employees themselves say on Indeed and Glassdoor.
We have technology.
We can stand for what we want when it comes to consumption by supporting the good guys. For one, support the strikers whose demands will enact the change that we want to see within the institution. Don't buy from companies when you know their workers are striking, if you can so help it, or buy from them if they refuse to meet the needs that are demanded of them. Second, check out the sites that collect ethical companies and get to know who those players are. Are you looking into ethical electronics? Take a look-see at Fairphone, the phone that cares for people and the planet with supply chain ethos and a 5+ year tech expectancy. Buy from your local mom and pop shops with the awareness that they may be reselling goods that are produced in an unethical way. Support your local artisan so you know exactly who is making these goods. I say this and ask you to be cautious when purchasing on retail sites such as Etsy. Back in the day, Etsy was comprised mostly of artisanal sellers who made and sold their own goods. Now we are seeing more and more of these fast fashion type shops pop up with questionable practices that Etsy plays no part in outlawing. So just be aware if that's the route you choose to take. You can shop for a cause and spend money on brands that are aligned with your ethos, whether that is women-owned and centered, Black-owned, fair trade, socially conscious in developing countries, meaning that they are working in developing countries not to get the cheapest labor, but to provide sustainable employment opportunities. Many of these companies go the extra mile and then offer additional trainings to workers in order to continue broadening their options for employment, boosting their economy and standard of living. You shop environmentally conscious, shop with the entire supply chain truly being made in the United States. Whether these companies are pro-worker, co-op, local, secondhand, like everything that you see that I'm wearing is secondhand. This is my late grandmother's top that she's had for ever. I can remember her wearing this when I was a wee thing. Now I'm not so wee and I get to wear it. This is my mom's jewelry that she's had for a very long time. I think these earrings are from my grandma. And things made to last. I've worn this to festivals and shows and day-to-day, and it still looks good. We want that. We don't want our things to just be filling up our landfills, right? So, if you're choosing to shop this Black Friday and beyond put your money where your ethos are and consider what that dollar is benefiting and who is uplifted and sacrificed along the way. I hate to say it, but I am absolutely guilty of shopping in an unconscious manner, where I needed something right away and the quickest, cheapest, most convenient was Amazon purchased to then be delivered straight to my door. I definitely feel guilty for it, but the purpose of this video is not to make you feel guilty, not to make me feel guilty, but just to educate and maybe encourage you, the people that you might talk to about this, to bring consciousness into your shopping practices. It feels good when you know that you are supporting a company that does good. All we can do is our best. And if you've made it this far in the video, I hope you feel more prepared to do better whenever, however you can. One of the best ways for us to be ethical consumers is to simply consume less. So maybe take a page from co-op retailer REI's playbook and hashtag opt out this Friday. Their doors will be closed, encouraging people, including their employees, to step into nature instead of the malls and find that connection to Mother Earth and the people around you and ourselves. We deserve it. Yes, we do. Well, that is it for today. If you've made it this far, please put a little kitty cat emoji in the comments and tell me how you bring consciousness and ethics into your daily life. I am here for the learning, the sharing, and the growing through even our mistakes. Every single moment is an opportunity to be who we want to be. And I am so proud of you for being your very best version of yourself in this moment. If you want to support and get to know my journey up to this point, join our community over on Patreon, link below in the description. Stay inquisitive, listen deeply, uncover your own truths, support the people and stores who do the things that benefit our planet and our people. Like and subscribe if you are so moved, and I will see you next time. Bye! Enjoy your holidays.